Politics.
Politics. Politics. Politics.
What is democracy? To start off, I'd like to ask you to forget any of the assumptions you have about what democracy is or should be. Let's just start from the basics. Democracy comes from the Greek demos for people and kratia for rule or power. Mashing these two together gives us the rule of the people. Not just a generic group of people, but the common people. In practice, you probably have a good idea of what this involves. People vote on stuff, like who will be president, whether to leave the EU, or where to eat dinner if you're in a large group of friends. This all in essence constitutes democracy, but therein lies the problem. There's more than one kind of democracy. Now, your basic starting points from here are to look at representative democracy versus direct democracy. Representative democracy is the kind of democracy you probably have, wherever you are in the world, and this involves people voting for those who actually vote on laws and legislation, like members of parliament or congressmen. You don't really have the power to make laws, you have the power to choose the people who have the power to make laws. Compare this to direct democracy, where you cut out the middleman and at least generally get to vote on national laws referendum style. In this version you really do have the power to make laws, although there has to be a countrywide vote every time. No countries are really completely directly democratic, with Switzerland the best example of it nowadays, and it bears repeating that referendums that are called for big issues in predominantly representative democracies are in fact directly democratic. Kind of. This leads into the problem of calling things democratic or not. If all that's needed is a vote, then there are quite a few systems that could technically be called democracies, although few would consider them as such. Many old monarchies were elective, although only other nobles had the right to vote. Clearly the nobles don't constitute the common people, but even nowadays we exclude a large portion of people from voting, from prisoners to non-citizens to children, despite the votes clearly affecting them. Not that there aren't good reasons for this, but where we draw the line for who's a common person, and by extension, whether we can call something a democracy, is debatable. Lastly, we have the issues that plague the practical aspect of voting, including gerrymandering, single transferable vote, the alternative vote, and more. But CGP Grey already has a popular series on that, which you should definitely watch. So, democracy. Simple.